Hello, everyone. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Boniface.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Walter.
Yeah, good morning, Killian.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much.
Morning.
Thank you very much. I'm fine.
Yes,
Thank
good.
you. I hope you are all well. Um, I take this opportunity to welcome you to this workshop. Thank you very much for dedicating time to be part of this workshop. And rightly, as we have communicated before, uh, this is a workshop geared towards empowering all of us with knowledge, tools, skills, and resources to be able to be change makers through countering misinformation and disinformation in our country. As we know, with technology, things have changed, and there is so much information online that is not true, that is not verified, and that ends up misleading people. So in this workshop, we are joined by a few stakeholders. We have our partners. We also have the CRECO team. We also have fellows, and we have our facilitators, and we also have you, our esteemed members for this session. So firstly, I would like to recognize our so before we get there, this project is a project under the Constitution and Reform Education Consortium, CRECO, and we have been doing it as a team of fellows under the Digital Democracy Fellowship, which has been facilitated by the Embassy of Finland in Kenya. And we are also in partnership with UNESCO, Kenya UNESCO Youth Forum, and Trashon Kenya. So at this point, I would like to welcome Trashon Kenya, if the representative is here, so that they can say something and introduce themselves. Trashon Kenya, you're available. Okay, we have Kenya UNESCO Youth. Do we have a representative from Kenya UNESCO Youth? Kenya UNESCO Youth? Okay, they will be joining us in a few and they will be able to give their brief remarks. And we have my fellow fellows who are here. So before they introduce themselves, my name is Boniface Moema Harrison. I am one of the Digital Democracy Fellows at CRECO. I'm also founder and executive director of Moema Action Posts, which has been sending you most of the communications. And we exist to inspire action on social issues through empowering people with knowledge. Thank you very much. And I would like to give this chance to my fellow fellows, starting with Dorothy. Dorothy, you may introduce yourself.
Okay, good morning and happy new year. My name is Dorothy Mwende. Mine is to welcome all of you to this training. Feel welcomed and interact where you can. All the best. And Mr. Boniface, we have PWDs like visually impaired. So in case the speaker is demonstrating anything on the screen, you will have to remind him or her that you are visually impaired so that he can explain what is on the screen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dorothy. Do we have reactions on our devices to give a round of applause? Let us give some reactions. A round of applause to Dorothy. Like hand claps. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you very much, Dorothy. And I want to welcome Walter.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Walter Ngano. I'm a member of the Digital Democracy Fellowship Program. I'm a fellow together with Boniface and Dorothy. We're in the same group. I'm also a USIU alumni class of 2024, but currently I'm a digital journalist at kenyans.co.ke. So as Dorothy has said, welcome everyone to the session. Feel free to ask any questions, to provide any feedback or comments to the speakers and to us as the fellows. Karibuni sana, and yeah, looking forward to an interactive session.
Thank you very much, Walter. Let us give a round of applause to Walter as well. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you very much. So a few housekeeping rules that we need to consider when we are continuing with this session is that we need to mute our microphones unless we are speaking so that we can avoid the distractions. We will also need to use the chat box for any comments or questions that you have to the speakers as they will be speaking. And we are also going to have a Q&A session at the end of the session, rightly as in put in the program. So prepare your questions and your perspectives and your insights for that session. So I would like to confirm whether our first speaker is here, who is Tony Olela. Tony, are you ready with us? Okay. Let me.
Hi. Hi, Boniface.
Hi, Tony.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Now, thank you very much. I needed to confirm that. Asante sana. So right now, we're going to get to our first session where Tony Olela will be leading us in a discussion around where misinformation and disinformation comes from. We do not just see fake news from nowhere. They come from somewhere. And so he is a well-experienced expert, and he will share his insights based on his experience in the bio that I will read below. It is quite something, and I think this is a challenge to all of us to keep working to ensure that we have as well-informed bios as this one. So Olela Tony is a seasoned gender and development practitioner, child protection and SRHR champion with a background degree in special needs education, sign language with IT. Formerly served as member of the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, Kenya Youth Advisory Panel, YAP, where he advised the country office in ensuring their programs include and empower young people. He is the founder of AFRI360, a program that has been curated for young professionals globally in any field who are passionate about personal and professional development, which grants opportunity to network, bridge, build, achieve, and connect. It aims to leaving every individual empowered and connected. Alongside this, he has been very privileged to moderate, share insights in several high-level panels, both physical and virtual, on FGM, leadership, SRHR, and gender-based violence globally. Notably, in 2023, during the launch of the United movement at the United Youth-led SRHR plus HIV Network Leadership Summits for Eastern and Southern Africa, ESA, in Johannesburg, South Africa, the second International Conference of Female Genital Mutilation in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and Youth Connect Africa Summit, Nairobi, Kenya, as a keynote speaker, among others. Mr. Olela was elected in 2022 as the Undersecretary Head of Administration and Programs for the Global Youth Consortium Against FGM, that unites over 2,500 youths in 55 countries across the globe to rally advocacy against harmful practices. In 2023, Tony was crowned by the government of Kenya through the Ministry of Tourism and Heritage the Global Peace by the tourism ambassador after him organizing a youth-led global peace chain summit in Kenya, which attracted 1,800 Kenya delegates and 150 international delegates. He continues to play a great role in creating advocacy initiatives on the involvement of young people. Furthermore, to the above, he played the instrumental role in the design of innovative programs such as the Body Rights Campaign, aimed at ending technology-facilitated gender-based violence, and led a 3-month self-run pilot project dubbed Tree Seedlings and Pad Drive, which supported over 8,522 GBV child survivors, girls, and child mothers in health-related grassroots dialogues across various marginalized communities in Kenya. Olela Tony is currently pursuing his master's degree in gender and development studies at Kenyatta University in Kenya, and a strong champion for gender equity, child protection, and SRCHR. Let us put our hands together and welcome Mr. Tony Olela to give us his presentation. Let us give him a hand of applause. Thank you very much and welcome, Mr. Tony Olela.
All right. Thank you so much, Boldface, for that. I don't know what's happening. Let me just stop sharing first so that I can navigate through these. I don't know if you guys can see me.
Yes, we can.
Maybe. All right. Thank you so much, Walter. Sorry, I'm joining you guys from a very, very cold place, and don't mind why I'm on the jumper and I look shiny. Yeah. So thanks so much, Boldface, for this, and I'm happy to say that it's my first Kenyan event this year to just talk to young people virtually. And thanks so much for giving a brief about myself. And to allow me to share this, you mentioned earlier about UNESCO Youth, and I'm seeing my chair on the call. Maybe could just say a word before I proceed, kindly. Please, you can hear me.
Yes. Thanks very much, Tony.
Sorry.
And
Okay, great. John is here. Welcome very much. This is the representative from Kenya UNESCO Youth. Yeah, welcome very much. We had reserved a slot for you earlier, but you were yet to join. Welcome. Let us put our hands together for John Linus. Let us put our hands together. Thank you so much. Welcome, John.
thank you, Boniface, and every stakeholders on this call. I don't have much to say, but to give Tony to proceed with the conversation so that we go with the time. And I'm much humbled to be on board, and I'm equally ready to learn from you and spread the good news. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for the support.
All right, thank you so much. So let me just start by saying that we really want to dive into this conversation, quite interesting, and I'm honored to talk about this topic. When I saw campus fact check, I was like, what is this all about? And when I received very late communication from Boniface, I didn't know what I was going to handle. But when I was told to talk about information and misinformation in today's era, more so in the context of Kenya with what is happening, I was like, what should I put together? But allow me share what I have today, guys. So my bio has been read to you, and I'll just repeat that professionally, I'm a gender expert, child protection and as a child advocate, and I'm so happy to have even my mentees from other countries joining. I see colleagues from Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Ghana, and other countries joining on this call, plus my fellow young people who are based in Kenya. So my first question will just be, I'll take this very fast to allow time for Q&A and engagement. And if you feel like I'm too fast, if you feel like you want to ask a question, please feel free to communicate into the chat box. I also consider the fact that we have persons with disability on the call. So I appreciate if the supporters around them to help them read through the slides and also contribute where necessary. So my first question will be, what is the information? Just drop a chat on just drop your response on the box. What is information? Like in the next 1-2 minutes as we proceed. I can't see the chats, but I'll be able to read them after the presentation. So you have your own definition of information from different contexts, depending with where you're coming from. Whether you're in East Africa, West Africa, Arab states, and anywhere you're coming from, also depending on their language. What is information, right? So we'll delve into that later. I'm seeing comments. Information can be defined. Wow, I have to use this device. Information is a collection of words used to pass a message. JSA processes data, facts, or data collected, data that makes sense and can be communicated easily, among others, in which we'll read more as time goes by. So, what is misinformation? According to this definition, misinformation is false or inaccurate information shared without the intent to deceive, right? And then disinformation is the deliberate false information spread to mislead or manipulate others. And this happens a lot by the use of AI, by just you get something from social media, you want to share it out without really doing your due diligence. And that's why you find that most of us young people back in Kenya, we get ourselves trapped in different occurrences or different happenings. So the question is, how do you verify the information that you've received as an individual? Okay, you get an information on WhatsApp, your work is just forwarding. You forward messages everywhere. By the end of the day, you're going to fall into a trap, not knowing like that whatever you shared, maybe it's causing an alarm or it's raising an alarm to other people. So we need to be keen on the information that we are sharing out. And how do you identify this misinformation? So what are the key facts that you need to ensure that you put as a priority before you share information? Ask yourself, who has shared this information? Okay, what is this information all about? Where is the source of this information? When was this posted? And why? All right. So the moment you're able to ask yourself these questions before sharing out an information is very important. Remember, any kind of information that you share out, you need to ask yourself, what impact will it bring to the people whom I'm sharing this with? And what impact will it bring back to me as an individual who is sharing out this information? Yeah. So doing your due diligence is very important when you're passing out this information. For example, when I see Mwem Action post share some information, I'll be so much interested to know, like, okay, because I'm very keen that the person behind that post knows why he or she is doing this post and is very keen on the target audience with whom they are sharing this information with. So please, due diligence is very important to young people, and ensure that whatever you share does not bridge or rather interfere with someone else's feelings. For now, we're living in a world where people are lack what you call emotional intelligence. At the moment you get it out there, for people who understand Kiswahili, utasalimiwa with the with the Gen Zs and anybody else online. And remember, online, I say social media is an open field. Social media is nobody's bedroom. Okay? So nobody cares who you are there. Even your villagers will attack your social media. So ensure that whatever you post brings a message to your colleagues, comrades, to your followers in a positive way. And information has different impacts. And with the time, that data reveals that there's a high trend of misinformation, and this spreads enormously. And these impacts can really erode trust within institutions, even at work, among your colleagues. Misinformation can really cause drama, cause chaos within the office setup. Okay? Also, misinformation causes the social unrest and even conflict among others within the within the hemispheres, right? Also promotes harmful behaviors. Like for example, misinformation can lead to things like sextortion, body shaming, among others. Also personal responsibility in combating this information is very important. You are the custodian of the information. So whatever you share out, you never know what impact it will cause. So what are some of the common sources of false information? As you all know, you are all beneficiaries of social media. Social media is one of the key platforms that drives misinformation or other information in general. The question is, how do you consume this information? Do you consume it intelligently, or you just allow yourself, or you allow your emotions to carry away when you're passing forward a message? Also, blogs, website, we have also images that have been manipulated. I won't talk much about the graphics that are being done currently in Kenya, on the coffin issue. Most of you are on social media and watch news, you know what I mean. I won't talk much about that. But the thing is, we also have a lot of misquoted information. For example, when you are passing information on issues advocacy, about issues gender, femicide, gender-based violence, child protection, child abuse, the question is the source of information of that information. When you're quoting data, are you quoting the right data? Are you quoting the right people who talked about this information? So please, once again, due diligence is very important. Verify any information that you want to put outside there, so that you don't fall a trap, and also don't make other consumers of this information fall into trap with whatever you are sharing out. Now, understanding misinformation and disinformation. What are some of the red flags for this kind of data? All right, we have clickbait headlines. For example, sometimes I think there's a month in Kenya where there's a lot of fake links about click here with the Naivas to get promotion. Click this link to get data bundles, among others. Yeah. Sorry. Remember somebody's talking. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So also lack of incredible citation and sources. Please ensure that you do your due diligence. Emotionally charged languages, there are a lot on social media. And those on social media, you know what I mean by emotionally charged languages. Some people just probe out information, probe out communication outside there, just see how people will react of whatever that is happening. We also have unverified claims and statistics. Be very keen. Please be very keen on this, more so with the data. Fake data might land you into trouble. So how do you verify information? Quick tracks. Cross-check the sources. Use fact checking websites like Snopes, PolitiFacts, and Africa Checks. Also check the author's incredibilities before you share any kind of information. Now, just to move a bit fast because of time and to allow time for Q&A, I don't know how much time I had Boniface, but I'll just do this very, very fast. Now, just check through. How do you always use social media as an individual? How do you always use social media? I believe that most of you use media to create blogs, videos. I see people late in the wee hours of the night, tap on TikTok. You also use media to follow celebrities, seek information about health, do blogs. Most of you use it for betting, among others. You also use media to seek for emotional support. TikTok, you do a lot of this. I won't get into issues, love affair, relationship. No. But most of you use social media to massage your emotions. That's another area of conversation that I can talk about it later on when given a chance to. You also use social media to participate on in attacking other people. So ask yourself, like, how do you use social media as an individual? But also, as you use social media to share all this information, are you safe on social media? Are you protected on social media? Okay, because as I said earlier, that social media is an open field where anybody can attack you anytime with any kind of information that you take out. But now the big question is, how can you keep yourself safe on social media? How can you report incidences when they happen to you, or rather when you fall a victim on social media? I'll give few quick tips of reporting that works in Kenya. Now, the apps that we are using, they have, if you see the far right corners or down there below, you can see, like, I think that 3 or 4 buttons, 3 buttons. When you click, it gives you the avenue to report a case. It gives you an avenue to address an issue regarding a specific post or a specific
Excuse me.
yes, EK, Elizabeth.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Could you please go back to the 2 previous slides where you are talking about the fact-checking website, Snopes? I didn't get the other 2.
All right, let me just get back to where I was. There?
Yes, just a minute.
Okay. Right.
Thank you.
In the meantime, as she's doing this, please feel free to ask questions on the comment section. Boniface will help me to fish them out, but I know we also have a session later on for Q&A. So, Liz, can we proceed?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, a very important. Sorry? Okay, so now, a very important part for us to also delve in is this part. As I was saying earlier, you can be attacked online, but you don't know how to report this case. So for many apps, actually all the apps, they have the three dots where if you click on, you will see report, you will see different comments, and how I wish this was practical. But if you check even right now on your phone in any app, you're able to see the 3 dots where even in WhatsApp allows you to report. I remember when my WhatsApp was hacked, my friends helped me to report the individual who did share out my information. Yeah. And this enabled me through my tech team to first of all freeze all my handles on my account, such that the person who did hack it could not really be able to access my other privacies. So ensure that in reporting, it starts with you as an individual first of all, and then your network. So ensure that the people around you, that they have lean, rather they're so intentional with being with you in their network. So reporting starts from the app, and then also reporting works with the DCI toll-free number, which is very long though, 0800-722-0203. If you maximize on these numbers, you're able to report a case of a violation online. Also, when you visit KSite is a Kenyan online platform where you are able to report these cases. And it works. Guys, it works. I know systems sometimes fail, but this one works very, very well. It has helped us to even retrieve accounts of some of our colleagues, report cases of violation, among others. Also, some helplines like 116, 911, 1195, among others. So, even as you come down to a closure, how can you keep yourself safe online? Maybe some quick thoughts. Online safety measures. Online safety measures. Maybe some charts can be shared. How can you keep yourself online? Okay, avoid. All right. I'm seeing some comments here. Refrain from sharing. Avoid clicking ahead. Yes, Michelle. Boy. All right. Now, being that I really want to end at exactly 11:35 Kenyan time. I'm seeing so many comments. Kia, Data, Idrissa, thanks so much about securing, avoid logging into untrusted. Yes, authentication. Oh, yeah, the two-step verification. But now I just want to share that online safety measures, they come in different categories. But the first thing is be very courteous, please. I beg. If you forget everything, forget my name, forget my speaking, but ensure that you be very courteous when sending messages to people. All right? Be very, very courteous. And also remember that everything you post can be traced back. And now you guys, you are seeing a lot of happenings even in Africa, a lot of abductions, a lot of online attacks, among others. Remember, whatever you post even now, and I can tell you this from my context in the UN system, guys, whatever you post can either drive a positive impact or a negative impact towards you. And somebody once told me that social media is like a knife. You can either use it to cut a fruit to enjoy the sweetness of the fruit, or you can use it to kill yourself. So be very keen with whatever you post online. It can either build you or break you. And the breaking comes with time. The building takes a lot of patience on social media. You never know who is watching, you never know who is following. So think twice before you click that send button. Before you click that post button, think twice of the information that you're passing outside there. Do not post anything that you not want people whom follow you to respond or read or watch. I beg. I do a lot of personal branding. I do a lot of trainings on how you can brand yourself outside there on social media. And this is what I always stress to my mentees. Even my mentees who are on the call, you know this. I always tell that whatever you post on social media, people say that, oh, Instagram is for lifestyle. I post myself when I'm in the bikini, in the beach, doing my stuff over there. People say TikTok is for ABC, LinkedIn is for professional. Guys, let me tell you, for those who have been in the job industry, you understand that when you're applying something online, you always ask, please put your social media link. The question is, whatever link that you've given outside there, are you sure the people who are doing the recruitment, what information will they get about you? So do not just post anything online. Be very courteous in whatever you are doing. Also ensure that private setting and security that you have, they're safe. Somebody talked about authentication. Somebody talked about the two-step verification. Please, once again, even as I come to a close to this, ensure that you're very courteous with whatever that you are posting online. It's very, very important. Otherwise, to all the delegates on the call today, that was my presentation, and I'm looking forward to any kind of question that you have for me. Remember that you need to ensure that you do your due diligence, Whatever you post, even if you receive it, you can re-edit it, you can adjust on it to ensure that you put out the right information. Otherwise, thank you so much, and I'll pass it over to Mr. Boniface. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tony Olela. Rightly, let us give him a round of applause. Everyone, please share a reaction to thank Mr. Tony Olela for his comprehensive, detailed, practical, passionate, informed presentation. Thank you so much for that session. The session was supposed to end at 11:40, and he has kept quite time very well. And so maybe in 3 minutes, in a minute, if anyone would like to can raise your hand. Does resharing, retweeting, or liking mean endorsing? That is a question.
All right. Does the sharing, you help me read the chat box, Boniface. Does the sharing, retweeting or liking means endorsement?
Mean endorsing.
The question is, just that I'm just saying acronyms. The question is, what are you resharing? What are you retweeting? Do you want to retweet everything to just please the world that you are now active on social media? You get? So you need to know that what are you sharing? Because remember, there's what's called fact track. And when fact track gets to your feet, okay, you will reshare, you will retweet my information. Okay, but if it breaches somebody's rights, and then that person is missing, whom will they start with? Let's just be honest. Whom will they start with? They come for you. They'll assume that you know that this person who did the posting. So you need to be very careful with whatever you want to retweet and reshare. Over.
Thank you very much. I hope that was clear. And in a minute, what are some of the motivations for misinformation?
First is to there's this thing. There's this thing that is being used a lot by socialites. It's called okay, I think I'm missing it out. Cloud chasing. Okay, sometimes people cloud this is a cloud chasing. That's what they want. They just want to post so that people can interact with their postings. Yeah, so that also acts as a motivation to misinformation. Yeah, also people just do post things to probe what to probe people's feeling, to trigger a conversation online. Yeah, even in the WhatsApp groups, you can just post anything. That, for example, the other day, somebody probed a chat somewhere that gender is all about women, and I commented that gender is not all about women. Okay, and immediately people started to attack, and I was like, okay, so this is what guys are waiting for. You see, so the moment you open the room for the room for battling, I tell you, the moment you throw a stone to dogs, they'll back at you. It's called cloud chasing. Yes, exactly. You know, so that's it. Over to you, Boniface.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, team, for your contributions. We are now headed to the next session. Keep your questions coming. We'll have a question and answer session. We also remind you to share your email addresses to the chat so that we can process your certificates. And also, Walter will be sharing the feedback form so that you can fill it. Actually, you can fill your email addresses in the feedback form so that we can also be able to evaluate the impact of the session and facilitate your certificates. Thank you very much. We continue to appreciate you for continuing to stick with the session. I know we have participants from Technical University of Kenya. Are you here? You can react, you can give a reaction. Technical University of Kenya. Okay, we have Mount Kenya University. Yeah, I can see Technical University of Kenya is there. Mount Kenya University. Great. We have United States International University. Yeah, we also have Kabarak University. We have Kenyatta University. Our guests from outside the country. Then we have the Creco admin team. We'll be giving you a slot later to give a few remarks. And we have our fellows in the fellowship who have also joined us. Thank you very much for being with us. Moving on to the next speaker. Our next speaker is Rich Macharia. Rich Macharia, maybe you can confirm you are with us.
Hi, Boniface.
Great. Thank you very much. So Rich Macharia is a social media influencer known for his impactful insights on leadership and governance. With a strong presence across multiple platforms, Rich has cultivated a dedicated following through his engaging content that encourages thoughtful dialogues on the issues shaping society today. Through his online presence, he continues to build a legacy rooted in the power of informed leadership and the impact of collective action. Let us put our hands together and welcome Rich Macharia to give his remarks. A round of applause, please. Let us welcome Rich Macharia.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Rich Macharia. I am a social media influencer, as Boniface said. I am very, very happy to be in this meeting today. It is a privilege to be able to guide the younger generation through this digital age. It is very, very important to identify why it is important to identify disinformation in today's age. About 70% of the youth and 70% are online nowadays. Nearly everybody is on the internet, and it is an advantage. Yes, we appreciate that we are able to access the internet, but at the same time, it is a double-edged sword, and fake news really spread faster than wildfire, really. And nowadays, it has become very, very difficult to differentiate between legit and fake information. We use our digital platforms. I remember during the June 2024 finance bill, we saw X, that is Twitter, being used as an avenue for freedom of expression. People are using X at a very, very high rate. It was used for public participation, and it was used by people to call out for good governance. However, when it is in the wrong hands, some people may use this advantage to spread disinformation. I love that the previous speaker has highlighted the difference between misinformation and disinformation. So I want to point out that disinformation is the one that brings misinformation, because disinformation is false information that is created with the intent to mislead. Well, misinformation is the false information spread without malicious intent. So the person who is spreading misinformation might maybe doesn't know that
7 years.
okay. Maybe the person who is sharing misinformation doesn't know that is sharing the wrong thing. But the one who created information that is disinformation, he created it with the purpose to mislead. So it is very important to know how to distinguish between the real news and the fake news on social media. So there are some types of disinformation online. One of them is deepfakes. Deepfakes is mostly AI generated. We have all seen the way nowadays leaders are being put in coffins, and it has created quite a debate. So the people who are creating these images from the AI it is called deepfakes. They are images, videos, or
Very participatory. This panel discussion.
sorry for that. I don't know who is that. It is content that manipulates images, videos, and audios to sell a certain narrative. There are also fake news. Fake news is fabricated stories designed to provoke emotional reactions. For example, the other day there was a video that was circulating online, and it was a certain young man who was being forced into a vehicle by like 4 men, and then someone posted it and said the government is abducting citizens. The citizens are allowing people to be abducted. And so everybody started swarming the comments saying the government is abducting people. But the following day, I came to realize that it was a guy who had been caught stealing at an M-Pesa shop, and he got beat by a mob. Then he was now, after the mob has beaten him, they were putting him in a police car, Jamaa and the police station. But now the image that this video has sent is there are people who are getting abducted. So it is a video that has made people to react emotionally, and it might not be the truth. Also, there is manipulated media. That is, maybe you see that a post is from Citizen. It has been written Citizen TV, but it has just been edited and presented to look like it's factual, but it didn't come from Citizen TV. Also, there are clickbait headlines. These are headlines that nowadays these media stations have known how to drive traffic to their websites by posting a headline that is very, very catchy, that they know will create something from those who are reading and take them to their website. So we need to be on the lookout for such headlines and to realize when a headline is trying to evoke some emotions in you. So there are tactics that now, because I'm usually on the online space a lot, and there are tactics that they are used by people on how to driven campaigns, really, I'd say. So they are called as keyboard armies. So these are maybe paid influencers. They are put in, let's say, a group in WhatsApp, and they are told that they're supposed to post something. And then when they post it, it's a lie. And when a lot of people see that this thing is being pushed by some influencers, they might believe it. So something that the politicians actually really use is the keyboard armies. We've had some examples of disinformation in Kenya. If you remember in 2022 election, I remember there was a post from the Kenya Wildlife Service, and it was saying it was just before the elections, and then KWS posted and said there's a leopard on the loose, so people are advised to stay indoors until we give a report that we have returned the leopard in safe hands. And it was shared on Facebook, it was really shared, and it was actually a method by maybe one politician to ensure that there's low voter turnout. If anybody had taken that post and fact-checked and looked at maybe the page for Kenya Wildlife Service, they would have known that it's a lie. But because nowadays people just want to share news as the first ones, so when they see there's a leopard on the loose, they just want to post it. There was also a video of the now President William Ruto during the campaigns. He was speaking in Kalenjin. He was speaking in Kalenjin. So those people in the other camp, the other politicians in the other camp took that video. They put subtitles there down below and tried to suggest that he was actually preaching violence. Well, actually, what he was saying, he was preaching unity in that community. There was also a blogger in that same election. He was taking fake images and putting them online and saying that his preferred candidate is actually popular, and it was a lie. But when it comes to people and they see it, the fanatics of that candidate will repost it, and it's not true. So how do we identify disinformation online? How do you realize that this is not true and this is true? So the first step is check the source. You verify the credibility of the person posting. So when you see a post, first of all, before you reshare, before you retweet, before you like it, who is posting this post? What is his reputation? Is he known for sharing fake news? Is he legit with what he posts? Then you also fact check. You may, if it is an image, you may take the image and go online, search up the image. You'll find the true story behind the image. Examine the content. What's the tone used in this post? Is it meant to evoke emotions? Because, for example, right now, we are just angry. People are just angry at anything, at everything. So if you put a post that will evoke emotions, it is more likely to get shared very fast, because people just want the narrative that they believe in to be that way. So what is the language used? Is there any sign of manipulation on that image? Is it AI? You can go out and check if this is AI and this is real. Also cross-check facts. Use trusted fact-checking websites. You can also reverse image search on Google to verify the media content. Also, watch out for poor logic, comparisons, or emotional appeals on the content that has been posted. So anybody has maybe a question before I continue? Boniface, help me.
Okay, thank you so much. We are progressing on very well. If you have any question, feel free to. I can see Jonathan Thuo has raised his hand. You can unmute yourself and say something.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for organizing this. It's very informative for us, and we really are grateful. I have a question. Sometimes you might be on X and you see a plethora of tweets that almost look the same because the branding is uniform, and they might be pushing a narrative that a certain, let's say, result has been achieved, let's say within a certain ministry. But when you go and fact check, you actually find that the information that was shared there might not actually be accurate. So is that also disinformation and misinformation, or does that fall under another category?
Thank you, Jonathan, for your question. Now that falls under disinformation. Those are the guys I'm telling you that they are usually very, very well coordinated on WhatsApp. So they get, that is why you see their responses are all the same. It's inakuanga very, very well coordinated, and it is very, very deliberate, because even the ministries they are praising that it has achieved something, it is not true. So that is disinformation, and those are the guys who run campaigns from WhatsApp groups, and then come on X and post, try to suggest that something is working, yet it is not working.
Okay, thank you very much. I saw Andrita had raised up your hand. You can unmute and say something.
Yes, thank you so much. So I've seen that news organizations are increasingly using AI in their everyday use. For example, I remember there's a time a post from Kenyans.co went viral because they used an image that was AI enhanced. And I inquired about that, and someone told me that the image was actually factual, just that sometimes because you don't see the faces well, they use AI to enhance the image. So how again do you classify that? And is it something that should be encouraged? Because the image was, I had seen from other websites that the image, I think it was a rally where President Ruto was speaking, and I had seen the image elsewhere, and it did have quite a number of people. But then on that website, they used AI to enhance that image, and it caused a lot of debate. So, what are your thoughts on that? And is it something that should be encouraged under the claim that it's to enhance the image?
Thank you for your question. I think that is this misinformation, in that the Kenyan.co.ke website, they did not have any deliberate attempt to maybe drive people the other way. It was just it was with good intentions, but it came out as wrong intentions. So I think it falls under misinformation, but it should not be encouraged, because we can't preach water and drink wine. We have to decide if it's going this way, it's going this way. So yeah. Okay, Boniface, can I continue? Hello.
Yeah, muted, Boniface.
Okay, yeah, you can proceed. Sorry.
Oh, I had a question.
Okay. Okay. Question.
Yeah, sorry, I had a question. My name is John. I'm not sure where to place this, and maybe our international attendees might not be able to understand, but for us who are Kenyans, there was some information 2 days ago on Citizen TV about the patients who stormed Afia House because they were complaining SHA was not working. And yesterday we had on Daybreak show in the morning, we had senior members from the Ministry of Health, of course, trying to counter the same. So when I come on national TV and I'm reading an SMS from, let's say, 2 people who are claiming that this event happened or is happening, in this case, SHA is working. Can that be taken to be factual because I am the one reading, or how do you verify that?
Thank you very much. I think that is where fact checking comes into play, because if you go online and try to look at what people are saying about SHA, and then you'll see a lot of people actually complaining, saying that SHA is not working, SHA is ineffective. But then here comes an official from the health ministry, comes on national TV, and then suddenly there are 2 texts that are trying to suggest that SHA is working. So the best thing about such kind of a situation is to maybe ask people around you, check online and see if what the officials are saying and what the people are saying matches. Because if you find that people are storming the ministry, claiming that SHA is not working, then that might be the most likely that's the truth, but the officials are maybe trying to cover it up. So I classify it as disinformation because they are deliberately trying to give us the wrong information. So any other question? Continue.
I think you can proceed. Then we have the Q&A questions in the Q&A session.
Okay. Okay. We are supposed to read beyond the headline. Reading beyond the headline is, for example, that Kenyans.co.ke website. They post a very, very catchy headline that if you do not open the website and read what has been posted, you'll most likely get things wrong. So let us really learn to read beyond the headlines. Also, we need to develop a critical mindset. Take everything with a side eye, so that you don't buy false information because we are too emotional right now. So before you repost anything, fact check. Don't be too excited to share. Think about it. Think about the effects of what can happen if you continue sharing the wrong information, because this information has a lot of effects. If you remember, maybe 2007, the post-elections violence, it was cases of disinformation, and you can see the effects of what can happen if we do not decide to stand up and say no to disinformation. There's AI. You need to learn about the role of AI in disinformation. Realize that we are living in dangerous times. Yes, AI came and helped us, but then AI too is continually becoming a menace in the fight for disinformation. It has become very, very difficult right now. Actually, I remember a well-known blogger is called Cyprian Nyakundi today on X. He said that we be very careful on what we post because it has become difficult for everyone really to know this is the truth and to know that this is not the truth. So before posting anything, think about it, fact check, go and look, identify if it is AI. If it is, you can also ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT will tell you this is AI. So let us learn to check. Also empower others. Like maybe this forum. This is a very, very nice forum because there's a lot of insights to take. Share knowledge whenever you have the chance. Tell people when you see that this is disinformation, call it out. Tell people that do not share this. This is not true. You will help someone somewhere. You'll help something somewhere. Promote media literacy. Advocate for better education in media literacy, particularly in schools and communities. Also, when you see fake content, report it right there. On X, there are community notes. You can go and also report that post. There are 3 dots at the top of the post. You can go and say report it and say that it is misleading information. It is very, very important to ensure that we do not lose out on, we do not lose this battle. If you know it, share it, empower others, and let us advocate for true information. I think Boniface, that's my part. I'll take a few questions, maybe.
Thank you so much, Rich Macharia, for your wonderful presentation that is informed by practical experience with content online. Thank you so much. Let us give him a warm round of applause, please. Yes. Let's give some more rounds of applause. Let's keep sending the reactions. Yes. Thank you so much, Asanteni Sana, for the engagement. Now before we proceed to the next session, maybe a reminder is to keep checking the chat box where there is a link for the feedback. Please fill it so that we get to know how this session is ongoing and what we need to improve in the future. Rich, you are getting messages on excellent presentation in the chat box. Thank you very much. And maybe just to break the ice a little bit, I would like to recognize if there is a representative from CRECO here, so that we can have their word. Duncan, could you be around?
Boniface, can you hear me?
Yes, Duncan. Welcome.
All right, I'm here. Thank you so much.
maybe you can give a word as we continue with the session.
All right, thank you so much, Boniface. I hope I can be heard clearly.
Yes, yes.
So thank you so much. I think we really had very elaborate presentations from our two speakers, and really we cannot downplay the very importance of having these conversations on how we can continue ensuring or enhancing information integrity on our online spaces. And as Creco, I must say that we have really gone down to earth really to ensure that these discussions are well facilitated and to ensure that everyone gets into the online spaces from a point of understanding and knowing that indeed this is how I need to interact with online information. So I don't know, Boniface, whether I should talk in a very conclusive way to also maybe mention a few things on what Creco is doing at this point in time. Maybe you can guide on that.
I think we can have that in the closing remarks. Then we can
All
proceed the Q&A session for now.
Thank you so much. But maybe just a comment, a quick one, is that someone mentioned about information, whether it's myth or disinformation. And I think it's important to always, we hear lawyers talking about the Constitution and the spirit of the Constitution. And I think the big question here is the intention. Is the intention to mislead, or was that happening without the intention to mislead? And when we understand that, we are able to know what kind of response, because actually this is a capacity building workshop to really help people to know how to respond on different online information that we daily interact with. So thank you so much, Boniface. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause to Duncan from Creco. A round of applause. Thank you very much. I know there are people who have been raising their hands. Now it's your time. And I've seen a question on where the feedback form is. The feedback form is pinned, as Walter has mentioned, is pinned in the chat. So we'll start the question and answer session. I believe Mr. Olela Tony is here with us. Please confirm.
Yeah, hi, Roger.
Yes, great. I have heard his voice. Thank you very much. So we have a question from Sandra Yvonne. I saw your hand. Sandra Yvonne, you can take it up.
Yes, hello. Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much for the opportunity. My question was to the speaker, Macharia. So as a social media or content creator, John had mentioned something about certain posts coming from well-known organizations or media houses like Citizen. But then in circumstances where disinformation spreads quickly across social media networks, and sometimes it leads to outpacing the efforts to correct it. How then do you go about it? Because news travels really fast in social media. So by the time it reaches me, how am I able to know that it hasn't passed through 1,000 people? And how am I able to differentiate if it's factual or not?
Okay, Macharia, that was for you.
Can she please repeat again?
All right. Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes.
Fantastic. In regards to you being a social media content creator, and John had also mentioned earlier a question in regards to well-known organizations or media houses. If a post is reposted and it has a Citizen logo on it, sometimes it's easier for people to believe that that is what's factual because organizations such as Citizen or NTV are well-known pages where you can trust the source. However, in a circumstance where disinformation is shared and spreads quickly, across social networks, and it sometimes outpaces efforts to correct it. How then can I be able to know that this is real or not if I'm probably the 1,000th viewer viewing that post?
Okay, I hear you. So for example, you get a post suggesting this and this has happened, and it has a citizen logo, and already it has been shared severally by a lot of people, right? So I think the war on disinformation reaches a point where it becomes individual. Like when you see a post that has a logo of Citizen, you can simply just go online, maybe on X or on the website, and check whether they posted it, whether it's among their posts, because they are usually there, all the posts they have made. Once you see it's not there, now it's your role, you as an individual, go back to maybe your post and flag it out as fake. You can just say this is a fake post and report the person who had posted that piece. So that's
Thank you.
Great.
Mama, just Boniface, just to put a hands on what Macharia just put. Sandra Yvonne, the thing is, to me, is the why. The why is the most important thing. I've seen thousands of posts, thousands of likes of this, but why should I repost this? Do I really want to post this? It's like you're battling in between. The moment you find a clear response to your why, that's when I advise you click the retweet or repost button. That's all. Over to you, Ben Boniface.
Okay. Tony, are you still on? We lost you.
I'm done. I don't know if I was clear.
Yes, you were, Tony. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. We go to Simeon Ochieng. Simeon Ochieng, you raised up your hand. Are you still available? Okay, we have Phoebe. Phoebe has really been waiting for this moment. Phoebe,
Yes, good afternoon, everyone.
good afternoon.
Thank you for this opportunity. Just a brief one. How is it punishable by a court of law? For example, say like a content creator has AI generated something like somebody has died. Like there, some few days ago, I saw some very wanting post. I won't mention the name, but they were purporting that some senior government official has died and the people were crying around. How can we do like a report anonymously? Because you find that some of these posts also are generated by people who do pseudo accounts. How can we report those accounts, and then how can they be punishable by courts of law? And again, things like prisons and some people who are big bloggers who hide. How can we follow up their accounts and do good report? Thank you.
I think Tony had spoken extensively about some of the numbers that we can call, some of the strategies. Maybe you can start off, Tony. Mr. Tony Orella.
Sorry. Thanks so much, Phoebe, for first of all having time to join this call. Sometimes I know there are questions in line with the with the reporting, what actions will be taken, how can you report. But just to check on the screen, these are some of the avenues that you can maximize on to report these issues. Okay. Sometimes with AI generated graphics, it's so difficult to trace back. But when you see a post online, and I always say, just check onto your phone. If you check on your phone, even on WhatsApp, even right now, if you go on Twitter and you check on the Twitter hand on the X handle, sorry, you're able to see on that post there are always 3 buttons just at the top. The three buttons at the top. Okay. When you click on 3 buttons, you have options. Not interested in this post, unfollow, add, remove from list, mute the person, block the person, report the post. When you click on report the post, or rather when you request for community note, you're able to raise an alarm to the Meta team, or rather the X team, and they're able to pull down that post, or rather take it further. When you go to KSAT is a reporting site for Kenya, where you're also able to raise an alarm concerning a specific post. Okay? So you can also tell your other colleagues, your other followers or fellows, to check through the post to help in reporting. The more the reports, the more attention will be drawn to the officials to see how best they can pull down that specific report, that specific posting. Yeah, that's it. And over to you, Boniface.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. We have Elfas. So Elfas had a question. Elfas, are you still there? Elfas. Good afternoon.
My name is Elfas, and first let me appreciate good presentation by our speakers who came on board and sharing the key points of concern regarding our fast checkers workshop. But then my concern is based on one thing. For example, you get a situation where a particular media entity has made a publication, especially on the print media, and then a publication concerning a particular person or a particular event. But after some few days, the person who was mentioned in that publication seeks clarity on what was reported, and it is found that some of the information reported were not clear. And they are then compelled to apologize. For instance, in this case, somebody, a person X who had posted that particular information to his or her followers on social media. How accountable do we hold this person liable for what he or she had posted? Maybe it was a copy-paste kind of a presentation. How do we hold him accountable, or how do we make such kind of a justification on the information that was shared on his or her handle that is now being changed by a virtue that this organization has to apologize for sharing incomplete or unconfirmed information? Thank you.
Great, thank you. I think that is bringing in the difference between misinformation and disinformation. And as Tony was mentioning on the intention, where misinformation is unintentional, where you end up sharing information without knowing that it is not true. And disinformation is where now, and I saw that happening because there was a newspaper that was had spoken something about the former AG, and then a few minutes later it was said to be fake. So I think that happens a lot. Maybe Rich can tell us what will be the responsibility of a person who has shared information that has ended up being fake, and they didn't know that it was fake, and it was shared by a credible source, by a source that is believed to be credible.
Boniface, please repeat.
what would you say about the question that Elfas asked on a person who shares information without, and then later on, the information was published by a credible media house. Then a few days later, the media house deletes the information and apologizes. Now, what is the responsibility of the person who shared this information, which has ended up being disowned by the owner?
I think his responsibility is doing what he did in the first place. The way he shared first without checking, he should go back and tell his audience that this was fake, and the page that had posted it flagged it as fake. So that is his responsibility.
Great.
Going back and telling them.
Yeah, what a great response. Tony, you want to add something?
I will say something as a villager now. Let me tell you guys, you don't have it is not a must that you raise an alarm to what you did. For me, I feel like if I did a wrong posting, I rather go delete and walk away. The moment you say that, guys, I apologize, I went to the toilet and missed the hole, my friend, your villagers will attack you with that apology. The only thing that you can do to be safe is delete it and walk away. Yes, the more you throw stones to barking dogs, my friend, they will try and attack you and bite you. Over to you, Mr. Chair. So Boniface.
Okay, we go to Isaac Murigi. Isaac Murigi, please let's make the questions a bit brief so that we can have as many as possible. Isaac Murigi, are you available? Okay, we can have Nicole Gitau. Nicole Gitau.
Hi, everybody. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
So my question is, so deepfakes and AI-generated content are increasingly used to spread misinformation and disinformation, even in Kenya. So I was wondering, how should the law distinguish between content that intentionally misleads or harms? And I think this was kind of highlighted by one of the previous people in the workshop asked a question, such as portraying leadership figures negatively and the originator's exercise of freedom of speech, and what legal or ethical frameworks can address the influence of such content even when the viewers recognize it as false.
Who can take that up?
Boniface, I feel like that's the whole proposal. Can you just summarize, like, what is the question? Maybe in a brief.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm asking, how should the law distinguish between content that that misleads or harms just by the nature of it versus the people knowing that it's not true, considering, so okay, for example, how there were some AI images of some top government officials in certain unfavorable conditions, but we all knew it wasn't true. However, it's still part of disinformation or misinformation. So I'm wondering how people who have that kind of content or start it, originate it, how is it that how would they be able to exercise freedom of speech and expression while, there's a thin line between that and disinformation or misinformation?
The thin line between freedom of speech and disinformation and misinformation.
Yes, and AI content.
Yeah, and I think that's a debate that we can get an insight from our speakers, where while we might categorize these AI images and other forms of information as misleading, there are those who feel that it is their right to do what they are doing because they are holding the government accountable. So how do we balance between being factual and expressing our anger. What is the best way to vent without using information that is not factual? Maybe that could be a better way to paraphrase it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boniface, that question is very serious, huh? And maybe I'll pass it over to Macharia before the panels get much hotter. So what I'll say is, to be honest, I don't know. And identifying an AI generated information is so difficult to know. Maybe the IT tech can tell us how they can identify, but I know you can distinguish between a real face of Boniface and an AI Boniface. You see, it's like going for a photo shoot and comparing the real you and the photo whatever you. You can easily know the difference by the look of an eye. So to be honest, let me pass that to my senior Macharia to take it over. That question is very hot. Over.
Yeah.
Maybe you can decide to you can decide which content from which influencers do you want to take. For example, when you go to X, there is maybe Cyprian Nyakundi. He has never posted anything that is disinformation or misinformation. He's known for legit information. But there are guys, when you mention their names, they are known that all they do is post propaganda and disinformation and misinformation. So you can decide which who do you want to consume their content, because they are the ones who post legit things. So for a start, maybe is take information from guys who are known to post true and legit information. Also, on the question of thin line between freedom of expression and fighting for good governance, I'd say that we are supposed to be very, let's be very near of our emotions. Let us not allow, even though we are very angry and want to fight the government, let us fight them with facts. Let us not fight them with propaganda, because when you fight them with propaganda, they'll also bring their hired bloggers to fight us too with propaganda. Before we realize, it is a mess. So that's what I'd say, Boniface.
Okay, thank you very much. We have JS. I saw JS. I didn't get your full name, so you can go.
Thank you, Boniface. So my full name is John Sunday. I think at the point of registration, I put JS by mistake, but it's John Sunday. And thank you for the opportunity. I wanted to ask, and one of the leads, I think from Craig touched on it, intention to mislead. So I'm looking at it as a creative. For example, when I draw a photo of let me pick maybe somebody from outside. We have seen AI images of President Trump dancing with the former lady also who was vying. That was AI generated. However, if I was to draw it as a creative, as an artist, and I'm trying to express myself, okay, this is my imagination. Where do you draw the line between that, disinformation? Because what's the intention? I'm not misleading. When I'm doing this, I'm not trying to mislead anyone. I'm just trying out my creativity. Where do you draw the line that now that we have AI on board? Because right now it is sensitive with the government staff and everything. However, as a creative, as an artist, if I'm trying just to express myself, where do you draw that line?
Yeah, again, another thin line to be drawn, where people would like to because again, as a creative, I think you express your perception about someone or a situation through your art. So our perceptions expressed through art supposed to be categorized as misinformation or disinformation, or they are going to be excused as a form of art? And I see that question also where the Michelle Chepkemboi has asked, what of activism, use of art for activism? AI-generated images are art and used to communicate. It's a question. So how do we balance between art and making the art not be spreading untrue information? And any of you can go first.
Let me take that. What that activism? Let me see. What of using art or activism? AI generated images are art and used to communicate. Yes. Oh, I understand. So on this AI generated images issue, I think it is important. It's okay if you are using the images and art to in your fight for governance, but you can also use AI generated images in a responsible way. You are fighting the government, yes, but you are fighting them responsibly. And using your images, you are not spreading false agendas. Using your art, you are spreading facts and good information. So it can be used, and it is okay to be used, but it should be responsibly in that case.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Okay.
Boniface, I think Machel is right. Just that we are into an intergenerational conflict where people don't understand that the current generation is they're very creative and they express themselves through art.
Yeah.
You see, yeah. So through the art of action. You see, that's why for me, I really admire the animal world. Animals don't talk; they just act. When there's love, they just act. So people need to understand that context. Over to you, Boniface.
Okay. Thank you so much. We have Daniel Makuyu. Is that the correct name? I think so. Daniel, are you available? Daniel. Okay, we have Beauty. I saw her name Beauty. Beauty. Beauty, are you available? Okay, we have Francis Oino.
Hello.
Hello, is that Beauty? Yeah, Beauty Damarus.
Yeah, I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
My question revolves around social media. There was a time, I think in January, the founder of the owner of Facebook announced that they want to drop the fact checkers in Facebook. And according to Al Jazeera, they were saying that how do you call them? The fact checkers organization are biased and they're trying to promote the will to express. I can't remember like the exact word. So dropping the fact checking thing what does it mean for social media? Because I think it's something that is important considering that there's so many people using social media right now.
Okay. Thank you so much. We'll then get another one from Francis so that they can be responded once. Then I'll go through the chat to see if there are more questions. Then we can start wrapping up that session. What it means, what fact checking means for social media. So note that. What fact checking means for social media. Then we have Francis Oindo. And go.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Boniface. I believe I'm audible enough.
Yes, you are.
I've heard we have talked much about the AI fact checking and even realizing if information is a fact or a false or just a deliberate driven information. But my question is going to revolve around now the releasing of information to the public. Should we have a classified informations, a classification of information that there are some sorts of information that should not reach a common citizen or even should not just come to the public? And I'll just give an example with the other day we saw the father of our speaker died, the mother, sorry, and there was a very heated environment and heated situation in the burial where a governor came up and said that the government should stop abductions, of which I don't know if it's true abductions are happening in our country right now, but now the leader of majority came up, and when answering the governor, he ended up touching on things that happened in the previous regime that led to many people being killed and others were even thrown in Ribayala. That was from a majority leader in parliament. So it's true. People have been dying and people have been killed. But does that type of information, should that type of information reach the public? Because it's like you're trying to resurrect a dead emotion. I believe you are getting me, or you're trying to figure out on what I'm trying to say. Because the other day, even on X, we had a Fufua ICC. There was a trending tag for ICC. We know what happened to BR27. Some people have tried to live with the emotions. Some people have gotten a way of living with what happened. But now when you're bringing up this information again to the public, it's like you're trying to resurrect an emotion that already dead. So should our government or our system come up with a regulation that there are some information, however factual they are, they should never leave a mouth of an individual if not allowed?
Okay, thank you for the question. I think that reminds me of some things I hear about Japan. After the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, there were some phrases that they say all the time. There are things they don't do in order to maintain their peace. So that's a question on information that should be kept, not to be released to the public. Maybe our speakers also note that. Let me go through the chart and see if we have any other question. How can grassroots communities be involved in combating misinformation without access to advanced tools? So that's another question. How can grassroots communities be involved in combating misinformation without access to advanced tools? Then we have a question is, another question, citation very key when you lift info, okay? Also, there are computer misuse. Someone was adding information that there is Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act that provides information regarding what Kenyan Constitution says about the social media. That was Walter, our colleague here, was sharing information about. Also, when publishing information on social media platforms, you should consider KTN. Okay, how do ethical consideration? Another question, how do ethical considerations come into play when discussing censorship of misinformation? I think that's another question related to the one that Francis was asking. And then what are the tools or technologies that are being developed to detect or prevent the spread of misinformation? Please share the feedback form again, kindly. Okay, for those who would like to fill the feedback form, Walter will share it. It's also pinned so that you can fill the form. Where is the attendance registration? It is there. You will get it in a few. What is the current state of media literacy in Kenya? Wow, that's a good question. I think Media Council of Kenya has that data. It was released in May last year. And I think Walter is also a professional in the media industry. He can share with us the state of media literacy in Kenya. That's a very important thing to know. Okay, I think that is hello guys. Okay. Uh-huh. Any other question? I think now to our speakers.
Sorry, Boniface.
Yeah.
There is one more question that was asked after Tony's presentation.
Okay.
And it wasn't answered. Probably I can just ask it for the person who shared it.
Yeah.
He said, I have a question about personal branding, especially posting on social media. How does posting, for example, how I dress impact my professional life?
Okay. I think Tony has done considerable work on personal branding. He'll be able to tackle that. Okay, now to our speakers, we are nearing to the close of the session.
Excuse me.
Sorry?
I've been skipped.
Pole sana. Sema kitu.
Asante. So I had a question
Yeah.
majorly to Tony Olela. I realized mostly from his presentation, he talked about the emotional intelligence and emotions being a major influence to what people want to post at a specific time. So this is just a question from my personal view. What would you recommend on improving emotional intelligence? Because I think I personally lack it to some level.
Okay, thank you very much. And thanks for the confidence to not allow yourself be left. I think now to our speakers, we'd like to give you this chance to respond to the questions that you can tackle. Then you give us your closing remarks and also majorly focus on how university students in Kenya can be change makers and what specific actions that specifically university students can take to ensure that our online space is safe and factual, because essentially this conversation is directed towards university students. So we need to gear it towards that direction and ensure that it is relevant. Yes, I think that will be good for a start. Maybe we can start off with Tony, handle the questions, give your remarks, and then you can tell us the perspective of students, then you close.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So the questions, there are so many, yeah? So I'll just take what my brain allowed me to take at the moment. So most of those questions I responded on the chat, but I think I did reply directly to the people who were asking them. When it comes to issues, legal issues, policies, I did answer them directly to the chat. So and then I was also saying something before even I answered the questions. I raised concern about issues, doxing, phishing. So I think maybe in the future, Boniface, you could consider having a discussion about technical facilitated gender-based violence. I've done this for quite some time to address these issues and even how to report them, TFGBV. And I was seeing feedbacks from, is it Chip? There's a lady who was really, pushing it out, Michelle, yeah, Chip Kemoy. So now, about personal branding. Today, we were not talking about personal branding, but I'll just put across that personal branding is very key. The way you dress, the way you smile, the way you talk, determines a lot from you as an individual and the information that you that you want to relay. Do you know that even the color of your dressing can make people know that this a good communicator or a good public speaker? Okay, even the way you smile, even the way you move your body and talk, that's a different area. Boniface, you'll put that as a training some days back there with some good budget.
Yeah. Okay. It's all right.
Yeah, but if you're interested, by the way, for me to train you on personal branding, I think the person who asked that question earlier, I had shared a link where you can definitely jump in on my website and able to register for your interest, and then we can figure out how best you can do the training. I've again shared the link there on the website for those who are interested. We are having the relaunch of the sessions next month. It's more of coaching. Okay, I think that answers about personal branding. So dress code matters most, how you speak, smile, how you present yourself. And I like the way Elizabeth took up the microphone. I will skip. That's the way people run for opportunities. About community advocacy, I again responded to that question by saying we need to do a lot of knowledge sharing. Knowledge sharing and knowledge management is also another area of training. So more awareness back wherever you are, and it starts with you as an individual. How do you start from where you are to the next person? You get before even going it loud. Use the available resources to pass the information about how people should maximize on their social media handles, or rather, how people should communicate wherever they are with the information that they're getting. So I did respond that advocacy very, very important. About emotional intelligence, Liz, emotional intelligence is also a concept worth being trained on how to manage yourself emotionally. That's why people go for therapy. That's why people go for counseling, among other aspects. Now, how do you communicate putting emotional intelligence as a key factor in your communication? Your language matters most. You see, there's the language that if you put it outside there, people perceive information differently. People read differently. The same way you can read a statement with a question mark and a statement with an exclamation might be different. You get? So you need to get to communicate in a lean way where people don't really let your language be lukewarm. Lukewarm, not hot, not cold, but a bit lukewarm. Right? When putting out when addressing the people in public. And again, about data, about communication, I know Executive Mutua has done a lot in that space, mostly with the issue of music, and also a lot of training has been done by UNESCO, supporting different entities to talk about AI, communication, among others. Now, just to close it up to prevent a lot of ranting over here, what I say is we're living in a world where misinformation spreads just like wildfire. What's happening in early right now. And students, comrades, young people have the power to be truth bearers and even rewrite this narrative. And what we need to do is we need to think critically, verify facts, and also advocating for digital literacy. And this is one of the platforms that now I've picked up when it comes to issues addressing information. Yeah. So young people, you can transform these in your own communities. You can form group, you can empower your society, and be the change that the people want to maximize on. Last but not least, I beg, choose the truth over deception. Being courteous online with the information that you're passing is very important. And that's all from my end. Once again, my name is Lola Tony, and it was a pleasure, speaking with all of you in this call. Over and back to you, Mr. Boniface.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tony Olela. Let us give a round of applause for Tony. And as we close up, please be as brief as possible. You can also tackle the question on if there is information we should not give to people, and if the fact checking works on social media, so that we can close up and be truthful to a 1 p.m. deadline.
Okay, so before I continue to the question about whether we should hide some information, just to add on preaching the misinformation and disinformation campaign at the grassroots level. Boniface, maybe organizations like yours, you can take these campaigns to the ground too one time, and maybe talk to the locals, because actually at the ground level is where disinformation is at a high, because they don't have access to what we have. Also, the question about the situation of media literacy in Kenya. Kenya has made some significant advancements. The government, the UNESCO and MCK have partnered, and they are offering workshops, seminars in universities to help young Kenyans with critical skills to engage with media content responsibly. So we are advancing very well. About the question of whether we should hide some information, I actually agree with him. There is information that we should hide because it might evoke some, he's calling them dead emotions in people. But at the same time, we should not forget. The reason why we keep mentioning them is so that let's not forget our scars. They remind us of what happened when we ignored some issues. So when we ignore the efforts for disinformation, we know where it can lead us. So let us maybe balance it so that we don't forget what can happen if we sleep on this. Otherwise, thank you very much for the session. I have enjoyed. It has been very insightful. I hope to see you again in the next session, and let us continue.
Thank you.
Thank you, Boniface.
Thank you so much. You can share your social media handle so that people can see what you do.
Oh, my social media handle on X is at richimash _.
You can type it in the chat box. Actually, you can type it in the chat box for to see. Like Tony has typed his website so that people can see and follow you further. I rightly, as I promised you, Walter has already shared with us a link to the state of media in Kenya. So you can check the chat box and click the link and access there. At this point, I would like to welcome Duncan. You will give us 2 minutes extra so that we can wind up. So Duncan, now it's your time from Creco. Let us put a round of applause for him to give us more remarks from briefly from Creco on what they are doing, the programs they have for students, and further. Thank you so much. Karibu sana, Duncan.
Sorry, Boniface.
Okay, yeah, Walter.
Just before Duncan comes in, I just want to say thank you guys for your responses so far. I'm recording them, and keep responding to the feedback form, and we'll for sure take in your feedback, and in the next session we'll have acted upon them. Thank you.
Great, Walter. Thank you so much for the information. Yeah, make sure you fill the feedback form as requested, so that, and we'll be working on your certificates in the course of short time. Duncan, welcome.
Thank you so much, Boniface. I hope you can hear me clearly. All right, thank you. So I'll just take a very short time, 2 minutes, as you rightly said, and say that CRECO means Constitution and Reform Education Consortium. And maybe just before I give the final communication from our end as CRECO, maybe you can just make a comment, Boniface. I hope I'm allowed. And it's with regards to just a few issues that have been raised. And I think one of the issues is on the issue to do with the lines, the thin lines that you are talking about, Boniface. And it's very interesting that when we talk about the thin lines between one, freedom of expression, and also regulation from government, it's indeed a very thin line. And I think it's Macharia who said very well that, again, the issue on information, it's also a personal business. And we always talk about self-regulation because even at some point, even when we talk about the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act of 2018, it does not very well elaboratively deal with even emerging issues within the online platforms. So again, it's about self-regulation. And then again, the next question, the next issue is on the question of ethics. It's very important again to also know that however much you want to express your freedoms, however much you want to, you also need to have ethical considerations on the communication that you are disseminating out there, because communications has to be intentional. It has to be, are you advocating for something? Are you trying to counter a specific narrative? It has to be intentional. And in fact, we are really advocating that whatever you do on the online spaces, you have to be very intentional about what you are doing. And maybe finally, as my last comment, is that as CRECO, we've always been saying, and I know Boniface is very well privy to this, we've been saying that stop, reflect, and verify. And the question of, I shared this without knowing that it was misinformation. I did share without knowing that it was false information. The question is, one, did you stop? And especially on information that elicits emotions, it must be responded to with a lot of caution. Because when you receive any information and you realize that there is an emotion of anger, there is an emotion of joy, comfort, you feel vindicated. Sometimes you see information that makes you feel vindicated. Yeah, because maybe someone was misbehaving and ukasrudi ukasikia kwamba they were kicked out of government, they were kicked out of offices. Those kind of emotions, when you see that, you need to first stop. Don't even proceed, stop. Then reflect. The reflection bit is when now you're thinking of the different motives, trying to assess what was the motive of this kind of information, what was the reason that what is the communicator trying to achieve through this kind of information. And then finally you verify. And I don't want to go to the details of verification because we've really been educated so very well by Tony and Rich. So Boniface, I my 2 minutes are already over, but as CRECO, just know that the CRECO Digital Democracy Fellowship is part of our project that we are calling Vijana Tuchanuke. It's a project that really is to enhance and empower young people on how to fight misinformation, disinformation, and fake news. Please be sure to follow us on our social media platforms at CRECO Kenya, on X at CRECO-Kenya, on Facebook at CRECO Kenya, on TikTok, CRECO Kenya on Instagram, CRECO KE on YouTube, to see the kind of work that we have been doing with regards to fighting and combating misinformation, disinformation, and fake news. And we are so happy, Boniface, because of this kind of work and the collaborations that you've also enhanced or midwifed into this webinar today. And we look forward to collaborate with like-minded partners so that we can continue empowering young people on how they can be better people and responsible people on the digital platforms. I think, Boniface, so that I don't use so much time, I want to say asanteni sana, and as CRECO, we continue with this fight for towards digital hygiene. Asante sana, Boniface, back to you.
Thank you so much, Duncan. I think we have come to the end of our session. From CRECO Digital Democracy Fellows, Walter is here, Dorothy is here, I believe Felix is also here. We wish to thank you very much for dedicating your time to be part of this session. We will be giving you more information about the next session on 31st. We look forward to also having you there. We'll be having more amazing speakers to share more insights as well as indicated in the program. We owe you lunch because of taking your 5 minutes more, but we believe we will catch up soon with you and have some lunch. Thank you so much. And also much gratitude to our speakers for their time and insights and experience that you have shared. We really would like to listen to you again. To our speakers, asanteni sana kwa kutu support. and we will continue working together for the greater good. May you be blessed. Have a great afternoon. Thank you so much.